Alright, YouTube, this is going to be a race recap of the race this weekend. It was an MPRC first points race. So I'm going to go ahead and go over the car, and then we'll go from there. I'll get the tickets out and everything, and then we'll talk about it. Alright, YouTube, so we back. So right now, everything is working fine. I do want to do some changes, but first, a shout out to It's Hooking. Definitely kept me glued to the track, and shout out to Knuckle Up. The battery definitely was performing, kept me consistent. I tried my little trick up here with the without the nose hitting. The nose didn't touch the front or slam or anything the whole day, so I'm guessing that helped kept me consistent, which was a great thing. Liking the chassis so far. I did not run with my GNSS in there. I should have, to always keep the car the same, but I took the GNSS out and I just ran it with the battery up front. When I try to put down more power, I noticed the car is lifting up, so I'm gonna have to add some weight to the front. I got a little 60-something grams I'm planning on putting up here, just to see if I can put more power down from the line. That'll definitely make me get to my ET faster. But other than that, I also changed the bearings. I've been running this bearings in this car for like 2 years, and I decided to change them Friday, and I think it helped. So let me go ahead and get the slips ready, and then we'll go from there. All right, so I believe it was 5 runs in that series, but I do also have test hits passes. So I didn't get certain tickets, so what I did was I went back to the video, and you can watch the 5 runs when the series started, and then you'll see the times add up. But anyway, so right out the gate, I had to run Little Man, Carlos Little Man Juan. Shout out to him. He ran great that day. So we started off, I believe we were 6. So I started off in the right lane, and I didn't even really look at the time, but my first pass was a 2:14. The mile an hour beam, I believe, was off because it says 129, but 2:14 on the first pass. So I didn't even pay attention to that. And then Juan ran a 2:28. And that was great because that was his first race. And he was stoked, so he wanted to race me for the rest of the day, but he definitely gonna be a problem this season. But anyway, race 2, I forgot to save the ticket, or I must have misplaced it. But anyway, I wrote down what I had on that pass from the video, and it was a 2:18. And what happened was I tried to push the car more. This was my smoothest pass of the day, and I tried to push the car more in the second pass, which caused it to raise up, hit the bar and everything like that. So it kind of delayed the car, and I'm believing that's why I hit the 2:18. That was my next pass. And then from there, I started to just leave the car where it was at because it was running so consistent. So then my third pass, I believe I ran against Charlie. Yeah, my third pass was, I believe, was Charlie. And the car did a 2:18 at 70, and then Charlie did a 2:23 at 70. Same mile an hour and everything. He definitely got me off the light, as you can see. So that was a good race, but as you can see from the last 2 tickets, the car stayed consistent in the 2:18. So in the next run, I wanted to, I actually didn't really mess with nothing. I actually turned it back down. And during these runs, especially this one, I hit the scramble button, but I might have hit it in the first run, so the time wasn't consistent with my same tune. It was like I was playing with the tune during the run, so I'm thinking it was jumping me into the 2:1s. So one run, I backed down everything and didn't touch nothing, and the car went 2:21. So I was happy with that. I was turned all the way down, and it ran a 2:21. So I was happy with that. So then after that, we went into round 5. I turned the car back up just a little bit to keep it smooth and nice. And this was the finals, and I ran a 2:19 in the finals. So that definitely was a good day. Car stayed consistent. I started out with dry tire because I wanted to break in a set of Voodoos and see how it was running, and it was fairly okay that day. But the first, if you watch the test hits in the video, the first hit I did, I the car was breaking loose on me with. Then I started to get it down with the dry tire. Then I tried prep. Excuse me. I tried prep and I thought the car broke loose on me. But as I watched the video, it didn't break loose. So I end up going back to my same routine I was practicing the whole last week, and it worked for every pass. The car stayed down and planted and consistent. So that was a good thing that I had my routine down pat. It helped, definitely helped. And even in one of my passes, the 219, I didn't really touch anything. I just left the car the same, and I didn't hit the scramble button or anything, and the car ran the 219. So the tune I had was working, and I think I could have gave it more. So at the end, what I did was I started to test on my just testing, messing around. I turned it up just a little bit more, and I hit the 215 at 71.2. But I went back to the video, and I did my research, and I'm watching the car, and it looked like the car did raise up off the line a bit. So that's why I'm thinking I need to add weight to the front. The battery itself was weight, and it allowed me to put more power down. But for me to apply more power and keep this car down to the ground, I'm going to have to add weight to the front, or even buy a bigger battery. But I think going with the weight just to see if it will help, and then we'll go from there. So I'll probably add that to the front. We'll do some test hits with it. I also want to change RPM. I'm noticing some things that could help me off the line, and that's what I'm going to test out. I'm going to change RPM range. I'm going to change timing. I can always go back to my same setup I was just running, but if I plan on being faster, I need to keep testing and keep pushing the limits on testing. And then when race day come, I can be consistent. But all right, guys, that was the little update. Car did great. Shout out to the CCS chassis, holding up for me right now. So far, so what I want to do is, after I put the weight, I want to see if the car stays down and what happens. I need to put a side camera to see what the launch is looking like, because I really need to see if the chassis is flexing. If it's flexing, then I need to put some support on both sides to stop the flex and keep the wheels on the ground so I can launch harder, because that's where I'm going to make up most of my ET. And if I can make up most of my ET off the line, I should be able to gain mile an hour in the big end. So that's the plan. We're going to see how that works out. And so far, I think the gearing did help as well. But anyway, once again, shout out to It's Huckin'. It's a prep I'm using, team I'm driving for. And shout out to Knuckle Up there. I'm not sponsored by them, but I just wanted to give a shout out to them because that battery did hold me down. The weight helped in general. I run Castle. I got a Phantom. Shout out to Mike for the motor. I got this motor from Mike. It's a Rotoron motor. So shout out to Mike for the Phantom motor. I'm definitely putting in some power. Putting out some power. I'm getting like 4 horsepower on the logs, around there, like 3.9, 4 on horsepower. So putting out some horsepower, but definitely want to put down some more power. So that's why I want to change my RPMs, and I want to put weight to the front just to see what happens, and we'll go from there. I'll actually do a video of what I think is going on with RPMs, and hopefully it helps somebody else out, because right now where I'm at, if I can change and get faster, then I know what I'm doing is right. So we'll see. Everybody's already in the 1.9s with Castle, but you don't see, I could easily go R1 or DRK, but you don't see Castle in in the fights nowhere. So hopefully we could figure things out with it, and I could put the information out there to help other people out, so we can get Castle up there on the board. Alright guys, y'all stay tuned for more. No, I'm not sponsored by Castle. I just like their ESC and been running it for so long. But alright guys, stay tuned for more. So my PB for the day was a 214. The track PB was a 213. Shout out to Marco for running it. But I definitely got to Got to get faster. I know a lot of good. I know it was the first race of the season, but definitely want to expand my knowledge and do a lot of things. Oh, I know I'm rambling, but I also wanted to tell y'all last year and the year before, I never checked logs. I just ran the car. Consistently kept running the car, changed gearing, tuned from the remote. Never did anything to. So now what I'm doing is, after all my runs from Sunday, I came back and checked my logs and checked over everything, and I think there's some things that I can do to increase. Like my voltage drop is not the best, so I think I can do some things to increase, to better that. So that's what it's all testing is about. So all right, guys, thanks for tuning in.